And we are live. Welcome, guys. Pretty interesting 8-game slate to go over here. And I'm ready for all of the pain once again. So my question to you is, who is going to get injured or ejected for me tonight, right? That is the big question, because it's going to be someone. Someone's going to get injured or ejected on this slate for me, but I don't know who it's going to be. But yeah, guys, this is a big Q&A live stream, so happy to answer any questions. I'll be live for 30 minutes. Again, leave them in the chat. If you do like these live streams, Q&A style, just make sure to leave a like button on the stream. Subscribe if you haven't already. A couple away now from 11,000, so if you are watching this and not subscribed, would appreciate if you could hit that subscribe button. Also, again, make other content for NBA Top Shot, for Prize Picks. So a lot of content pumping out here, but yeah, guys. So again, it's a crazy one, right? There's definitely a lot of value. We recently got Pacers news earlier in the day. My boy Sabonis ruled out. We have Goga out, and Bataz and O'Shea Brissett not expected to play. So that's going to open up a lot of value there. Darius Garland we're still waiting on. Korkmaz is out. Robinson Earl was sent to the G League, but then recalled in the same day. I've never really seen that before. That's a first. Again, Sabonis out. Kind of the absolute nail in the coffin for me in best ball. Just had the worst possible luck there. The Heat are thin, right? No Jimmy Butler. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys available. But I don't think we see Chris Silva and Udonis Haslem, right? Number one, Udonis Haslem is, like, we talk about dust. He's what? He's like 45. Like, he is the definition of dust. And I don't think we see three centers, right? Because Dedmon's going to play the backup to Bam. So realistically, I think we're going to get an 8-man rotation here for the Heat, right? Gabe Vincent 1, Hero 2, Robinson 3, Caleb 4, Bam 5, Struss 6, Dedmon 7, and Kyle Guy 8. So yeah, good amount to like here for Miami. Unfortunately, Joe Ingles out for the year with the ACL. That really does suck. Again, we got PJ and Jimmy out. That's why the Heat are thin. And then we're still waiting on Zubac news too. Could have even more value. We're still waiting on Trae Young news. It's going to be a wild one. But the good thing is this is a slate where we have all the games starting in from 6 p.m. Central to 7 p.m. So we should get a lot of news. And here we go. It's rolling, right? Now we have no Zubac. Nick Batum in. Bielitsa out for Golden State. So Golden State actually is somewhat thin. But the question is, do you want to go to Golden State value play and get Steve Kerr? That's what you always have to keep in mind. But yeah, it's a crazy slate, guys, because now it's a weird one for the fact of there's a good amount of like good value plays now, right? There's a lot of good value plays and not many great spend ups, right? There's not a lot of guys at the top to spend money on. So the question is, do you go to a guy like Steph Curry and jam in a lot of these value? Or do you kind of live in that more upper mid-range, 7, 8K range, and then maybe go to a few value plays, right? So that's a question you're going to ask yourself. But yeah, there's now almost unlimited value. So it's going to be a tricky slate for that reason. But yeah, guys, leave some questions in the chat. So let's do it. Appreciate all the support as always again. Goga news. Yeah, so yeah, we just got Goga news. Isaiah Jackson's going to look pretty good, right? So assuming Brissett can't go, the Pacers just don't have any bigs, right? So Isaiah Jackson is most likely going to start and play big minutes if he can stay out of foul trouble. Now, this guy is always, and I mean always, in foul trouble, okay? Last game in 18 minutes against Dallas, fouled out. Against Charlotte, played 24 minutes in a blowout, 5 fouls. Against the Pelicans, in 12 minutes, 5 fouls. Against the Suns, in 13 minutes, 4 fouls. Against the Warriors, in 19 minutes, 5 fouls. I'm like, you thought I was kidding? He's in foul trouble every single game and in massive foul trouble. So you do have to factor that in if you're going to go to a guy like Isaiah Jackson. And the tricky part here is if he stays out of foul trouble, he could break the slate because he's a really good point per minute guy. But there's 80% chance he gets in foul trouble. So the question is, how big a foul trouble is it? Is it 2 fouls in 1 minute, right? Or is it like maybe he fouls out in like 20 minutes? Because if that's the case, he can still get there. But like Yeah, so that's going to be a headache. And then, like, as far as who plays the backup 5 for the Pacers, assuming Brissett can't go, Amina Brima is not on this team. We might just get small ball. We might get, like, Torrey Craig at the 5. They do have whatever Terry Taylor is. It's not a real person, but I would assume he plays the backup 5. So, yeah, I'm excited to play Isaiah Jackson and for him to foul out in 10 minutes. Makes me yeah, well, I think there's less risk with Drummond than Isaiah Jackson. Andre Drummond ejection probably will happen. LeVert, Tobias, or Bam. So, of the three, I think all three look pretty good, right? Tobias without Embiid, Bam and Adebayo without Jimmy and Lowry, and LeVert without everyone on the Pacers. I think your safest bet is probably Bam. I think he has the highest floor of those three. I think the upside play is probably LeVert if he can hit his shots. But over the last 2 weeks, I mean, I'm not kidding. He's been shooting like 10% from the field. Zubac out, yeah. So now Hartenstein's going to look really good. But the question is, okay, we have Drummond and Hartenstein for value centers. But then if you play them both, then you can't get Bam. Then you can't get some of these other, more expensive guys. And we already have a lot of good value on the slate. So you're going to have to make some really tough calls here. So we're Lions fan. Do you want the bank? Oh, Rams, easily. I'm rooting for Stafford. Yeah. I'm rooting 100%. I do like Joey Burrow, but I'm rooting for Stafford. Hartenstein or Surge. So, like, I would think Hartenstein starts. So I'd probably lean him. Surge would be a guy that, we'll see how popular he's going to be. I think Hartenstein's a little bit better point per minute guy. Now, how many minutes do we expect? Like, he's already been playing around 20 minutes off the bench. Do we think he plays like 30 minutes tonight? I don't know if he gets like a massive minutes bump. Maybe he plays like 25 and like Ibaka plays like 23 or something. And the Clippers have just shown they're running a deep rotation. They could also run small ball 5, right? We could see like Marcus Morris or a guy like Nick Batum because both teams' front courts are thin. So you could see a situation here actually where both teams go small. I think a lot of people are going to look to the value bigs in this game, but I think there's a chance both teams go small with how thin they are at the big position. Yeah. The secondary Clippers guys, good luck. We could see some Winslow at the 5. They ran 11 guys in the first half last game. So the minutes are not secure for basically anyone. Desmond Bane. I think Desmond Bane's kind of just a neutral play for me. I don't love him, don't hate him. I'm fine if he lands in as last piece in. Ingram out? Okay, let's see. Do we have news on Hart and Valanciunas? If they're both out, that's even more value, right? So that would be fun. Let's see. I would guess JV plays. He's been out for a couple games with just an illness, so I think he plays, but let's see. Isaiah Jackson expected to start the 5. Tyus Jones will play. Okay. Ibaka, Man will... Oh, so they're starting Serge Ibaka. Ibaka, Man will start. Batum will play off the bench. Fun. Jonas Valanciunas, Josh Hart, game time decisions. We're having so much fun here. Sabonis is out, yeah. Drummond's just... there's less risk with Drummond. Isaiah Jackson is going to most likely foul out in this game. Both a good point per minute guys. John Morant, sneaky spend up. I don't think he's going to be sneaky because who else are we going to spend up for, right? Just look at the top. We have an overpriced Steph Curry. We have Tatum against Miami. Not a good spot. Like, by default, Ja's going to get a good amount of ownership tonight because there's a lot of value and not many spend ups. So I like Ja, but I don't think he's going to be sneaky. I think he'll be actually pretty popular. Boston spend ups in play. Really stuff on. Yeah, they're fine contrarian plays for me. Like, there's not many spend up options on the slate. Like, Tatum is overpriced, but raw points are going to matter on a slate like this, right? So I think he's playable for that reason. And Brown feels priced about right. Again, there is no Jimmy Butler, but Miami is still like a solid defensive team. Yeah, there's no PJ Tucker too. I don't think they're going to be the same defensive team without Jimmy and PJ Tucker. As they usually are, but I still think they're going to be a pretty solid defensive team. So those guys are in play just because of the lack of spend ups. Always a lot of good value when there's not. Yeah, it feels like it, right? How do you feel about spend ups today? No one that really stands out, but by default, you're going to see a good amount of ownership for these guys because there's so much value. Metu or Kuminga, we'll keep it on the starting lineup. If Metu starts, I think I'm more confident in his minutes than Kuminga. Now, the Warriors actually are thin, right? The Warriors are thin, but it's Steve Kerr. He'll probably run every guy on his bench. So, like, we know Steph, Wiggins, Clay, and Looney are going to start. Let's just say Kuminga starts. That's 5. So we'll pull off the bench as 6. Gary Payton off the bench is 7. Damian Lee off the bench is 8. Bielitsa is out. So I'm assuming they dust off JTA for a 9th man in the rotation. And then we might see like Moses Moody, Chioza as well. So this could be a game where Golden State plays everyone on the bench. If I had to guess, I would say, yeah, that come bucket starts Jonathan Kuminga. But not like 100% sure. Interest in Toronto Atlanta game? Yeah. We're still, right, we haven't got Trae Young news yet, right? Like his status is still up in the air. That could be even more value for the slate. And then the Toronto side, it's a good matchup, and they're all going to play big minutes. So yeah. Again, guys, if you're just coming, to make sure to hit that like button. We're almost at 100 concurrent viewers already, so appreciate everyone coming in, asking questions, supporting the stream. Chiefs fan, I'm in so much pain, fellas. I feel you, Ryan. That was a tough one. I thought they had it once they won the coin flip. They also choked. They definitely choked. What's up, DK? How's your day been today? Hope you hit big and no tilts. Hey, man, really appreciate that. Yeah. Again, talked about that in the YouTube video. It's been one of the worst weeks I've ever had for DFS of every single day. It's any injury or ejection. I went back and looked at the last, 2 weeks, I think, and it's 80% of those slates I've had either someone injured or ejected. The last 14 days, 80% of the main slates, I've had either someone injured or ejected. And another 10%, I've had players getting random massive foul trouble. Like Jalen Noel a couple slates ago, where he picked up 3 fouls in 4 minutes. So 90% of the slates the last 2 weeks, injury, ejection, random foul trouble. So I'm just kind of getting ready to tilt, right? I'm getting ready for someone on my lineup to get injured, someone to get ejected, someone to get massive foul trouble. I'm just preparing myself for that pain. Dort, Clay, or NAW. So I'm waiting. It's hard to say about the Pelicans right now. We're still waiting on Hart and Jonas Valanciunas news. But with Clay and Dort, it's pretty close. Like Dort obviously gets a little bit of bump there without Shea. So I think that's like a toss-up right now. Nurkic or Wood? Good question. I think both have a similar ceiling. I think Nurkic is a little bit safer. There's no real blowout risk. Both Blazers and Thunder have not been great. So I think that game does stay competitive. Whereas Christian Wood, it's double-digit spread. We might not have Kevin Porter Jr. There's a chance he only plays 3 quarters. So the safer option of the two is Nurkic. I also think Nurkic probably comes in more ownership. Actually, more I think about it, I don't think either really get a ton of ownership with there being so much value. Value centers, I mean. Thoughts on Bane? Kind of just, again, play I'm indifferent about. If Garland is out, is Rondo a must play? I don't know if he's a must play, but he's going to look like one of the better values, assuming he starts. If he starts, I would think he plays at least like 25 minutes. I just got here. What are your thoughts on Tobias with no Embiid? Yeah, I think Tobias Harris is a good play, right? He's going to get a usage bump without Embiid. Like, Drummond's obviously going to be a high usage player, but he's not going to be the same as Joel Embiid. Like, they're not going to run all their offense through Andre Drummond. So it's going to be more usage for a guy Tobias. It's going to be more usage for a guy like Tyrese Maxey. Seth Curry gets more shots up. Caleb Martin or Hartenstein? It's a good question, right? Because I think Ibaka, Hartenstein going to split the center minutes. They could go small a little bit. I think the safer play is still going to be Martin, just because the Heat, I think, run an 8-man rotation tonight. Whereas for Hartenstein, I don't know what his minutes going to be, right? Because we have Ibaka starting number 1. Yeah, Hartenstein is going to see the floor, but they can go small. As I said, both teams can go small here with the Pacers and with the Clippers. So it's not like there's a guarantee minutes bump here for Hartenstein. So that's, I think, the safer option is Martin. Now, let's just say the Clippers do run 48 minutes of Ibaka and Hartenstein. Then I would prefer Hartenstein because he's just a better point per minute guy. But I'm not convinced the minutes are going to be there for him in a game where I think both teams might go small. Julius Randle, Van Fleet. I mean, I think the safer play is Van Fleet right now. He's going to play like 50 minutes, and it's a good matchup, whereas Randle has been awful. I don't think Randle's out of play. I think he's more of a contrarian play. With Curry, you never know. Yeah, again, I would think Kuminga starts, but that's just my guess right now. In a site like this, do you more stars and scrubs to go contrarian, more balanced approach? Yeah, so like it's hard because the spend ups are not great. The spend ups are not great, but there's like infinite value. So the question is, do you go to a couple guys that are maybe a little bit overpriced, like a Steph Curry, like a Jason Tatum against Miami, and just jam in all that good value? Or do you maybe pick a couple of the value plays and then go a little bit more balanced? And I don't think there's a right or wrong answer. I think both options look pretty good. I don't think I go completely balanced. Like, I don't think I avoid all this good value and go like all guys in the 6K range. I think that is a mistake. So yeah, thoughts on Isaiah Jackson. If he stays out of foul trouble, he could break the slate, but there's also like a 90% chance he gets in foul trouble. We went over that. The guy cannot keep his hands to himself. So that's the big question of, can he stay out of, if he can, if Isaiah Jackson stays out of foul trouble, and let's just say he plays 30 minutes tonight, I would not be surprised if he has 50 fantasy points. But he could also play 10 minutes and foul out. So there's a very wide range of outcomes with him because there's never been a game where he's not been fouled. He's in foul trouble every single game, but he's also so productive. So it's a really tough one with him. And that salary gone up so much. You have Burks out 11. Joe Ingles. Yeah, I really feel bad for Joe Ingles. Offense just completely self-destruct in the second half. He did not recommend. Yeah, that was bad. Yeah, not sure yet. Nurk or LeVert. I mean, the safer play is Nurkic, right? He just has a higher floor than LeVert. I do think the ceiling's probably a little bit higher than LeVert with everyone out here for the Pacers. Bam for 40. And no, I don't think he plays 40, right? Because they have Dedmon as the backup. They're actually loaded at bigs, right? They have Dedmon. They can dust off Silva if they want to. Like, Haslam's not going to play, but he's on the roster. So that's not the issue with the Heat is of their bigs, right? So I don't think he plays 40 minutes. I think we probably get 35 minutes from Bam and then the rest for Dedmon. What do you think about fading? What do you think about fading as much value as possible and go pure balance? Yeah, I don't think I go pure balanced. Like throw Drummond in there. Yeah, okay, so Drummond's one value. Like, I don't think I full fade all the value. I would try to get probably at least one value play. Thoughts on Kendrick Williams, a fine contrarian value. I do think he probably plays mid-20s minutes, but he ranks behind some of the other value plays in my opinion. Giddey, Ty Jerome, Powell, Jackson, Drummond. Okay, it's contrarian. It's pretty contrarian, actually. Norman Powell will play big minutes. Doesn't really stand out to me. You have two values in there, in Drummond and Jackson. They're obviously good point per minute guys. Randall's going to be pretty low owned. He's been awful, but I don't hate him to go to him for leverage. I don't think he gets much ownership. Yeah, of those three, so assuming Met2 starts, I think I feel the best about his minutes, right? Because we've seen when he started games, he's played like 25-ish minutes. So I would say if Met2 starts him, how are you ranking Hero, Simon, CJ, LeVert, and Halliburton? What are we talking? Cash, tournaments. Obviously, Halliburton, we need Fox news. If Fox is in, I'm not playing Halliburton. So, favorite Raptor, if you had to choose one? Probably the top end guys, because there's not many spend ups. So I think Van Fleet and Siakam look the best. Are you capping Sixers exposure in individual lineups? Like if Drummond and Tobias, is Drummond and Tobias +1 expecting to be too much of a bump to everyone, you think? I think 3 is fine. Yeah, I don't think I'll play more than 3, though, from the 76ers, right? The positive here is their highest usage guy is out of the lineup, and they already run a tight rotation. So I don't think Doc Rivers is going to run like a deep rotation tonight. It probably is going to be 8, maybe 9-man rotation. So I'm fine getting to 3. I probably wouldn't play more than that, though. What do you think about Mobley if Garland is out? He doesn't really get a bump with Garland out. And Mobley's price is just, it feels right. So not much interest there. Yeah, I mean, Hero's going to play big minutes here for the Heat. No Jimmy and no Lowry. I have not gotten him right, I don't think, once this season, though. Every time I play Tyler Hero, he's shooting 5 of 25 and getting ejected. Like the last time I played him, he literally shot 5 of 25 and then got ejected. So, yeah, ready for the pain there. Morris, Powell, or Wiggins. I think your safest bet is it makes me puke, but I think your safest bet is Wiggins. I think the Warriors rotation will be relatively tight today, with them being kind of shorthanded. It's a good matchup. So I think he's your safest bet. Can you not play Levert today so he can go off? We'll see. We will see. 4,400 left for forward. Would you go Jackson or Craig? So the upside play, in my opinion, is clearly Jackson if he can stay out of foul trouble. But also, now you have to factor in, okay, I think a lot of people are going to play him, and there's also a very good chance he gets in foul trouble. So you can fade a guy like Jackson and hope he gets in foul trouble, because I think that's a very realistic chance. Desmond Bane or Dort last man in? Yeah, that's a pretty good question. I don't know if I have a super strong lean on that. Memphis is actually pretty, like, they only have Dylan Brooks out, right? So Tyus Jones is available too. So Bane's 6'1", he'll probably play around 30 minutes. Probably get you around 30 fancy points. Lou Dort without SGA should have to do a little bit more offensively, and it's a good matchup. I mean, the thing with Dort is he still does have a low floor, but I think I would lean Dort just because they're more shorthanded. But it's pretty close. Hero or Levert? I think Hero's safer. He's cheaper. He's like $2,000 cheaper. Both are gonna be pretty high usage tonight, in my opinion. But I think it's easier to get to Hero. Struss, Mann, Hunter, or Duarte? I don't love any of them, to be honest. I don't trust the Clippers rotation, so I'm probably not going to get to a guy like Mann. His minutes have been trending down. With everyone out for the Pacers, I might say Duarte here. I think he will be right behind Levert, kind of running this offense. Yeah, right. So yeah, Hero looks good. So yeah, take him out. He's gonna get ejected. OG and Van Fleet or Morant and Dort. I'm going to say the first one. Let me know if you're playing Isaiah Jackson so we can do the opposite. Will do. Should I wait for Fox News or Halliburton is overpriced already? Halliburton would be in play if Fox is out. If I don't play him, he's going to go for 40 real life points. If I do play Halliburton, he's going to shoot like 10% from the field at low ownership and be a massive bust. But yeah, so Halliburton would be in play. I don't think he would get a ton of ownership actually, though, if Fox is out. I think there's other guards that are going to look a little bit better point per dollar, but he would be in play. And we know the ceiling's there. Like I talked about it a lot recently, but he averages with Fox out like close to he averages almost 50 fantasy points a game when Fox is out. Throw those last the second and third game away, right, when I played him. But the last game we saw it, right? He went for almost a 60 bomb, 40 real life points. So yeah. All right, let's see if we have any more news. I can stay on, guys, for another 5 minutes, answer any last-minute questions. Again, if you guys do enjoy Q&A live streams, just make sure to hit that like button. Schroeder, probable, Trae Young, game time. We're getting a lot of game time decisions. That's fun. That is fun. Yep, so again, Ibaka starting the 5 for the Clippers. Who knows what's going to happen, right? Who knows what's going to happen with this Clippers rotation? Your guess is as good as mine. I think we might see 11, 12 bodies. And I just don't know what's going to happen. I have no idea. Let's see. Okay, guys, we're at about 30 likes, 100 concurrent viewers. Let's see. Any other questions? Feeling good about this slate. So again, there's gonna be some bad variance involved for sure. Let's see. Winslow, Metu, Martin, or Kenrich. So again, we're still waiting on the Kings starting lineup. So at the moment, I'll say Martin, because I think that's going to be an 8-man rotation here for Miami. But if Metu starts, then I think it's pretty close with him and Martin. Again, with Winslow, could play 25 minutes, could get a DNP, right? We have Batum back. Who knows how many minutes he's going to play? Kenneth Williams, I do think probably plays 25 minutes, but I would rank him behind those other two. Is Ibaka going to kill the slate? Here's the thing with Ibaka. We have seen him start multiple games and play like 10 minutes and play like 15 minutes. So if I knew Serge Ibaka was going to play over 20 minutes, I would say he's one of the better values in the slate. I'm not convinced we're going to get those minutes. Thoughts on Curry? I think his ownership is going to be a little bit higher than normal because there's no spend-ups. There's no spend-ups and a ton of value. So by default, we're going to get, some of those guys at the top get more ownership. Trent a bad play? No, I think he's a decent option in the mid-range. He is scoring dependent. probably plays at least 35 minutes. Now, he has been shooting good of late. So there is a floor. We haven't seen the floor from Trent in the last 3 games, but it's there, right? If he struggles from the field, he can hurt you even in big minutes, right? He can go for 17 fancy points in 35 minutes if he's not hitting shots, right? The last 3 games he shot well. 11 of 21, 11 of 22, and 13 of 28 in 56 minutes. But again, the ceiling's there if he hits his shots, but floor's here, 18 and 30 minutes. So I do think he's in play. Now, whether or not he hits his shots, I can't tell you that. But yeah, he's one of those guys where the range of outcomes is pretty wide, right? He can get hot behind the three-point land and give you a big game, or he can really struggle from the field and absolutely kill you. Getting the feeling Maxey's going to be popular. I think he'll get some ownership, but I think there's probably other guards that get more. So yeah. Drummond, this is the beginning of the stream. Yeah, I think Drummond looks amazing, assuming he starts. Jaylen Brown. So the 2 Boston guys, they don't really stand out to me, but I think they get ownership just because there's lack of spend-ups in the slate. Grizzle blowout Sixers, just play Drummond, and that's it. Yeah, it's a chance. What do we got for... I know the 76ers, I think they were favored. I think Embiid being out moved the spread a decent amount. I want to say it was like at least 5-6 points. Might have been a little bit more. But yeah, we're sitting at right now a 3.5 point spread. So I trust Vegas. So anything can happen. The game could blow out. But looking at the Vegas odds, I'm not super worried about it. Please Garland be out. Yeah, we're still waiting that news. DK probably did tilt. Migraine from Kersler, Hero, and Halliburton. Yeah, exactly. How many minutes do you think Drummond gets? Yeah, I think, good question. I think Drummond probably pushes for about 30 minutes. Memphis is a big front court, right? This is not a team that they can necessarily go small, right? Steven Adams, Jaren Jackson Jr., and Brandon Clark as the backup. So, like, they're going to have at least one big out there at all times. So, I would think he probably plays close to 30 minutes, maybe a little bit more. Yeah, Coach, I think Giddey looks good. Without Shea, he's going to run the offense. Good matchup. Bam Adebayo. Yeah, usage bump without Jimmy, usage bump without Lowry. Probably plays about 35 minutes, assuming no foul trouble. So, yeah, he's going to look pretty good here. Fading Giddey when you have Bam, Tobias, and Silver for a bit more. Yeah, I don't think you necessarily have to play him, but his upside, his floor and ceiling goes way up, right? Because Josh Giddey's going to do all the ball handling now. You got it. So that's a boost, number one. Number two, he's just going to be way higher usage. So he's going to handle the ball way more, be a much higher usage player, and great matchup against the Blazers. So there's a lot of positives for Giddey, but he is kind of priced in the mid-range. So you got to make some tough calls. Are you ready to get curd on the night slate? Yes. Yes. So, like, what could happen, and this is totally in the range of outcomes. Jonathan Kuminga starts. He gets a decent amount of ownership because he's starting. He plays 5 minutes. They play JTA like 30 minutes on the bench. That could very well happen. All the games being early games, it is a little bit weird. It's a little bit weird, but also we're going to know how we are doing pretty early. I assume we already covered Isaiah Jackson. Yeah. He's starting at the 5. If he stays out of foul trouble, he has insane upside. Great point per minute guy, but there's like a very, very, very good chance he gets in foul trouble. So the question is when? Is it massive foul trouble? Is it, 3 fouls in 3 minutes? Or is it maybe he fouls out in like low 20s minutes? Isaiah Jackson, Drummond favors Ibaka. Drummond's not close there. Okay, guys. So I think I'm going to end it there. Really appreciate you guys coming to check out the live stream. Let's fingers crossed, as I said it every night now the last couple of weeks, for no ejections and injuries, but most likely it's going to happen. Good luck. I hope someone in here wins big, and I will see you guys back here tomorrow.